Hi. Okay, so after I did the extended universe, or expanded universe, excuse me, that's actually what it's called, is the Star Wars expanded universe. Um, One of you commented on it and asked about the Star Wars Christmas special. I started to answer, and then I realized my answer was going to be more like a novel, so I'm just going to do a video for that. Um, So the Christmas special or holiday special was released in 1978. Just a little backstory here. It was released in 78. It was aired on CBS one time, first and last time. So yeah, it it depends on who you talk to. It was really bad. When you watch it, I mean, it's dated. Yeah. There's a lot of shows that you watch like back in the 70s and early 80s, like the Mario show. There's a cartoon and it has like the live action where the two guys are dressed as Mario and Luigi, and um that's pretty dated. Sadly, those two guys are gone now, but I just found that out last year. I was like, "Oh, that's too bad." And they always had a special guest, like even Elvira was on that show, I think for a Halloween thing. But anyway, so that's pretty dated, but it's nostalgic for us that remember it for Saturday morning. As for the holiday special, um there were a lot of big names. I mean, the cast came back. You had like Peter Mayhew and Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, um, Mark Hamill, and Anthony Daniels. So, but this was supposed to actually officially um introduce Boba Fett, because you had like the live action part and then there was the cartoon that introduced this character. And then, because I've done a lot of research on it, so this was supposed to actually introduce the character, and then of course the toys came out, and then the movie. So this was in 78, and then 80 we get to see the live action Boba Fett. Well, everybody did back then. Um so as for the quality of it, it drones on and on and on. It's just a bunch of stuff that doesn't you don't really, it doesn't really make sense. And so you're kind of sitting there wondering what's going on. Basically, the basis of the holiday special is Han Solo is trying to get Chewbacca home for Life Day. And of course, there's the Imperials trying to stop them and everything. So there's like the bad guys there. And of course, you meet Chewbacca's family, which have weird names, Itchy and Lumpy. There were actually I have found toys, well, online. I've seen toys for this holiday special. So, for it not receiving very good reviews and everything, well, my mom and dad don't remember it. So, it airing on TV. And for my dad being as big of a Star Wars fan, I would think that he would remember it more than my mom, but he doesn't remember it. He remembers going and seeing all three of the Star Wars films, but he does not remember that. And he also remembers the making of Star Wars airing on TV. So, and it's funny because when I asked him about the holiday special, he was like, I don't really remember that. But I do remember, because that was a big thing when they aired the making of Star Wars. He said that, he goes, it was really cool because you got to see 3PO and R2 and they were hosting it and everything. And he also remembers when the movies were first aired on TV. So he remembers all that, but he just does not remember. So it just was not a big deal. It just did not make it. But yeah, and as for the cartoon, I watched it again about a year and a half ago. The cartoon doesn't really make sense. There's not really much to it. But from a nostalgia standpoint, and the animation is just bad. You had all the blocky animation between in that time period. I've seen a lot of the oh shoot, I'm blanking on some. There was a dragon that isn't well known today, but and then sort of like the animated Hobbit, but this is like more it's just not as polished as it could have been. It's kind of like they rushed it, you know. But anyway, yeah, the animated characters are like Han Solo, and those are voiced by like Harrison Ford and Carrie and them. You also see like Harvey Korman. I don't have my laptop on right now, but there's Bea Arthur. She's in it. She even sings. But Harvey shows up quite a bit. And Harvey was part of he was in the Carol Burnett show. And he did that famous dentist skit with Tim Conway. They did quite a bit together. And it's funny, all the different names that you see in this holiday special. There's another singer in it. I wish I could remember her name. But anyway, I'll write down in the description all the famous names that are in it. And it's interesting that all these people are in it for how poor a quality it is. As for should you see it, it's it's not like tear your eyes out kind of a thing. It's it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I wasted my life for this. It's Lucas denies being a part of it, but I think he was part of it. I don't think that he would sign over that he wouldn't sign over it. Anyway, I think you get what I'm saying. He had such a tight grip on those characters back then that I don't think there is any way someone else would use those characters and he not know about it. Oh, so anyway. But yeah, we make fun of it now. And it is one of those where you scratch your head and you're like, wow, this was actually released. okay, and you question it. There's a lot of things in there where it's just like, where is this going? What is happening? Um, and it's just it kind of feels like it was just something to release between the two movies. It was something to introduce Boba Fett. And but it's not like it's one of those that's going to traumatize you. No. Like I said, the fan base makes fun of it and joke around about it, but it's not like one if it was really really bad, we would never talk about it. Like I said, there are action figures for it. There's a doll for Chewbacca, one of those like you see Princess Leia. I don't know the dimensions for her, but one of those where she has the ceremonial outfit, and it's not one of the little dolls. It's well, okay. Along the same lines, and I'm sure it's smaller than, well, size-wise, little bit smaller than, but you get the idea. But I've seen the ceremonial Leia quite a bit now, and where you could fix her hair and everything, smaller than a Barbie doll, but larger than the action figure. But anyway, what I was saying was, and they make quite a bit of those because I've seen Obi-Wan Kenobi for the original 1977 release. Obi-Wan Kenobi, Han Solo, Luke Skywalker. I think they had they had Darth Vader. Well, anyway, for the holiday special, they have Chewbacca in the red robe. So, and then they have, of course, his family. You could get regular little action figures. And they also have an action figure for Bea Arthur's character. But as for some of the other characters, I don't think they do. That doesn't mean anything. And then you could get like the little figures with the coin. I saw one for Boba Fett. And Boba Fett ended up, that particular Boba Fett, of course his outfit changed because it was his outfit, it's so funny because if you actually watch or if you look it up, Boba Fett's outfit changed from that point, from 78 and into 80. They changed it so much. So but what's funny, what I was saying was that there was a cartoon show, the Droid Adventure Hour, or the Droid Cartoon Show, and that particular armor that they have in the cartoon back in 78, they kept it in the 80s Droid Cartoon Show. So anyway, so as for, is it really, really bad? Is it awful to see? Like I said, we make fun of it. We do. I mean, we're awful like that. We're an awful fan base. We still watch it though. We In all honesty, for as much as we make fun of it, there's a lot of us that watch it. There's a lot of us that do like it for nostalgia reasons. We won't admit it. It's kind of like the Ewok adventures, you know? There's a lot of us who are starting to warm up to it again. For as much as we made fun of it when we were kids, or for as long as we made fun of it, we're embracing it again. So, but again, with the Christmas holiday special, it's it's one of those that has a lot of famous names, and I'll write them down. I'll put them in the description so you can see just how many names. Like I said, the names off the top of my head are Bea Arthur and Harvey Korman. And I wish I could remember that singer's name. But anyway, and the things that would go on, they would just drone on and on and on and on. And it's kind of like, is there a point to this? You know? And so, and it kind of detracts from the actual story. So, but, for being part of the Star Wars thing, it was kind of a bridge to introduce a new character. And I think, for the most part, they just wanted something that was holiday based and kind of missed the mark. So, I wouldn't say don't watch it, because, again, we poke fun at it, but it's not like there are those of us that don't embrace it. Because, like I said, with the Ewok adventures, we embrace that too. So yeah, there's nothing like terrible about it. Because again, the cartoon is poor quality. It, you know, you watch it now. When I was a kid, I remember thinking that cartoon was fantastic. You know, it was because, you know, you're a kid, cartoons are life. But now you watch it and the cartoon, the premises of it doesn't make any sense. So just be prepared for that. But it was one of those cartoons that it was just, the main purpose of it was to introduce Boba Fett. So anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad thing, but I don't think that it was for being as much of a success as the first Star Wars movie was. This just didn't. It just missed the mark altogether. So you know, it could have been done better, and that's why it. That's why the fans make fun of it as much as they do.